What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of Power Season 6, Episode 13. Look. A lot of questions were answered. Some stuff we didn't see coming. If you listen to the podcast, we've been making a lot of predictions. We've been talking about a lot of stuff with storyline. And we ain't see none of this. Well, some of it we saw coming, but a big part of this storyline we didn't see coming. But the episode starts off with Tommy. Y'all know how they've been doing these last couple of episodes. It's from everybody's perspective. So this was Tommy's episode, right? Something just hit me. I paused because something just hit me. So hold on. I gotta write it down. Gotta write it down. So I can say it. Because I'll forget. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. But something, literally, as I was getting ready to start talking, something hit me. And I was like, what? So, episode starts off with Tommy after he killed Benny. He drags Benny into his apartment. I guess he cleaned up the blood in the hallway. And y'all remember that he still had that ambulance and all of that stuff from when they pulled the heist and they broke old chick out of jail or whatever. So he dressed up as the, paramedic. He loaded Benny's body up on the stretcher. He took it out. Then he took the truck to the junkyard and had the truck, smashed and all that, paid the dude off. Okay. So Benny's body is dead. It's gone. There's no mystery there. There's no big thing there, right? So then he's looking for BG. BG is dead. He doesn't know BG is dead at this point. He's looking for him. He's like, he needed his help with the body and everything. So, of course, Spanky and Too Bitter in jail. BG is MIA. So, who he ended up calling? His crazy crackhead mama, honey. Mama shows up. And they have the craziest, borderline incestuous type relationship. It is really weird. But he starts crying and she comforts him. And he's like, because she said something, why didn't you call her Keisha? Keisha's dead, Ma. And so, of course, she tried to pretend like she cared, which she didn't. And then that's when he said, Ghost did it. Ghost took my crew. Ghost killed my girl. Ghost. And she was like, Ghost? No, Ghost wouldn't do that. Yeah, he did, Ma. He did it. So, Tommy goes back to his mother's house. And, of course, he's telling her how bad it is. The Italians are after him. He got to get out of town. He's got to go. And she's like, where you going to go? First she said, who am I going to score my coke from? You want me to go on the streets and do it? Like, it's okay that I'm a cokehead, but I'm not going to go on the streets and buy my coke. Like, what's going to happen when you're not here to supply me my coke anymore? And of course, while this is going on, that damn news report hits the screen with Ghost running for lieutenant governor, and of course, Tommy losing his mind, right? So then we have, excuse me. Y'all know they got me up late, honey. Excuse me. So now, Lisa Marie, Proctor's daughter, she's staying with with her aunt, and Benny is not home yet. Lisa Marie, it's sad, but Lisa Marie has turned into a soldier in a short amount of time. She was like, where's Uncle Benny? She's like getting ready for school. She don't want breakfast. She's standing in the window looking for Uncle Benny. And her aunt was like, oh, he's probably this, he's probably that, he's fine, he's a good. She was like, She was like, I know how this works. Proof of life every hour. When's the last time you heard from Benny? And Auntie was like, well, damn, She said, it's been a couple of hours. She said, well, like I know that's not good news. And so, of course, she was like, it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. And just as she finally gets the little girl to kind of calm down and like everything is all right, she was like, I got to get you to school on time, blah, blah, blah. Who come rolling up is Vincent and his crew. And she, tells her to go upstairs in her room, and she's downstairs talking to them. Where's Benny? What did you do to Benny? My uncle, my dad, he still want that sit down with you after what went down, with St. Patrick and with Benny and all that. And Lisa Marie hears this and she's like, yeah, something going on with Benny. Like, I'm not crazy. So Vincent was like, well, we'll keep some soldiers posted outside your door until we figure out what's going on. And Auntie was like, yeah, because, my dad still need to have that conversation with you. So while this is going on, Lisa Marie is upstairs. She's playing the recording. Auntie overhears it. Auntie's like, yo, what's that? And where'd you get it from? And she explains to her where she got the recording from. She said, I really don't know who it is and I don't know what it means, but one of those voices I do recognize. He came to my dad's apartment, and my dad was a little scared of him. I don't know why, but he was. And I was kind of scared of him too. So Auntie was like, okay, well, we need to kind of figure out what this situation is. So Lisa Marie was like, well, I know somebody we can call. Who they end up calling? Tariq. That damn lying ass, no, sir. I don't know what the problem is, sir. That's the Tariq that showed up. So, of course, he's playing like he doesn't know who these recordings are. And let me tell you how Auntie is smart. Auntie saw right through Tariq's ass. Auntie was like, he was like, I don't recognize any of these voices. Lisa Marie was like, well, who is Ghost? Because you can hear Ghost in that. He was like, Ghost? I don't know a Ghost. She said, well, what about a Tommy? Somehow I think they figured out Tommy's. He said, I've never met a Tommy before. So she was like, the auntie was like, how did you know to get my niece out of the apartment the night that my brother was killed, or cousin, whoever? He was like, I just had a taste for some cocoa. She said, how he get in the apartment? You leave the door open? Because my brother would have never left the door unlocked. So how'd he get in the apartment? So she is figuring this out, and she is not buying this damn act from Tariq. Tariq talking about something. That was a horrible night. I still lose sleep over it. She was like, I'm sure you sleep just fine. And Tariq was giving her this look like, she ain't buying this shit. You know what I mean? And so he was like, can I take this with me so that I can let my mom listen to it? She might know who some of these people are. Auntie was like, yeah, nah, give me my shit back. She was like, nah, you don't need a copy of this. Lisa Marie, let's go. Like, this dude, she was like, well, he's my friend. She was like, he is not your friend. It's something, he got some shit with him, and we getting up out of here. So, they end up rolling out, and what does Tariq do? He runs right to Tommy and tells Tommy about the recording and everything. And of course, Tommy, what does he do? He blames Ghost. Ghost lied to me. He told me he told me that recording was gone. Tariq was like, exactly. So that is why we need to kill Ghost. Like, now there's and he was like, well, I can't kill Ghost now until I find the damn recording. Like, I kill Ghost, it's still a recording floating around there about me dying. I mean, about, a crime I did. So then Tariq was like, well, I followed them. I know where they stay. So Tariq then told Tommy where they stay. He asked Tariq, have you seen, no, that was later. Sorry, that was later. See, I be getting this stuff mixed up. So now Tommy is like, all right, well, before I go kill Ghost, I got to go take care of this situation with the recordings. So he ends up going down. I guess he called himself going to confront Ghost. He goes down, and that's where we see him at the place where Ghost is giving, like, his acceptance speech or whatever. Like, thank you for nominating me, whatever. He wasn't there long because security saw him, and security was about to put him out. So his name must have been on the list, or his face, or whatever. Like, don't let him come around. So as he's walking out, Blanca runs up on him, and that's when she talks, she throws at him, we got Pancho, and we gonna bring your whole operation down, and we know this, and we know this, and we know that. And Tommy was like, if you know all of this, go on and arrest me, go on and put the cuffs on me now. And she was like, no, it's coming soon. She was like, oh, and we have the effects from Lakeisha. So she gives him all of Lakeisha's personal effects from the murder. That damn earring. The earring did come back. Remember, we were trying to figure out if the earring meant something, if it was just a typo. Actually, everything that whole scene was addressed. A lot of the questions that we were like, that don't make sense. He didn't think about that. He didn't see that. A lot of stuff was addressed. So the earring came back up. Tommy sees the earring, and if you looked at the previews going into this episode, when they say previously on Power, they go back to season 1 when Holly stole those were the same earrings that Holly stole. Remember? Stole out of the apartment, and then Tommy covered for her, but Keisha knew she was lying all along. It's those same earrings. So Tommy remembered them. So that's how Tommy knew that Tasha had been at the house. So Tommy runs up to confront Tasha. And he was like, he was like, so you left these in my house? Like, he didn't even play with Tasha. And he showed her the earring, honey. And honey, Tasha buckled. Well, I had to, Tommy. I had to. She was gonna, and she ended up showing Tommy the paperwork. Remember, we asked about that paperwork. Why would she take the paperwork? Well, she kept it for this. Write down. She showed Tommy the paperwork, and of course, at first, Tommy didn't believe it. She was trying to convince Tommy, no, she really was turning on you. She said she was trying to protect cash and all of this, and she was like, Tommy, think about it. Her bags were packed. She was leaving. Tommy was like, we were still moving in, like it was boxes and stuff everywhere. Which it really wasn't. But okay, I'm going to let you have that explanation as to that's why Tommy didn't pay attention to the fact that there was luggage downstairs. Because he was like, we were still moving. We still had shit everywhere. We had suitcases. We had boxes. Okay. So, Tommy pulls a gun on Tasha. And Tommy's like, you killed Keisha. And I really don't care about your explanation. I really don't care about all that you talking. You killed Keisha. And so, Tommy was like, Tasha was like, I never thought it would end like this with us, but at least it's you. And it's something about when she said, well, at least it's you, seemed like it made him pause a little bit when she said that. You know what I mean? And he had the gun on her, and so she was like, all right, Tommy, just take care of my kids, you do what you gotta do. And she turns her back to him like, if you're gonna shoot me, you're gonna shoot me in the back of my head, bruh. You ain't shooting me in my face. And Tommy ends up just leaving the apartment. Now, that's important that's what my brain epiphany a few minutes ago made me. So I'm going to come back to that moment. But he decides to let Keisha live. And Tasha live. And I guess at the end of the day, I'm sure we'll come up with all kinds of theories when we do the podcast. But I guess at the end of the day, he just couldn't pull the trigger. Like, yeah, she killed she killed Keisha, but, but he just couldn't, convince himself. So then we see Auntie getting ready to go take a copy of the recording to her uncle, whoever, but he's the head of that whole mafia wing, to let him hear the tape and figure out what their next moves were going to be. Lisa Marie was like, well, can I go with you? And she was like, nah, you can't go to the club, no kids allowed or whatever. She was like, but you'll be good. There are guards posted outside. You're straight. You're fine. So the exact opposite happened, honey. Then we see the scene where we saw before with where Ghost and Tommy confront each other. And what I believe is actually happening, and we sort of said this a couple of weeks ago, even though we're replaying some of these scenes, the dialogue is not the exact same. But I think the dialogue isn't the same because we are looking at that person's viewpoint. For example, and I'll forget when I'm going to say, go ahead and say it now. The part where Paz comes to the apartment to get Tommy to kill Ghost. Remember last week when we were like, he was desperate to get her out of the apartment because he even threatened to call the police himself. And we were like, Tommy gonna call the police? That's what Paz heard. That's how because tonight, Tommy ain't say nothing about calling the police. He put her out and everything, but he ain't say nothing about calling the police. At least I ain't hear it. I'm sure if I missed it, y'all gonna tell me. So we see, like I said, we see that whole scene where Ghost and Tommy confront each other, and Ghost was like, basically like, look, I told you could ride this wave with me. You chose not to. It is what it is. And he lets Ghost know, look, I know you didn't kill Keisha. He was like, I told you I didn't kill Keisha. And now he's trying to figure out who set him and his crew up. And Ghost was like, that wasn't me either. He was like, I know you ain't gonna believe me, but that wasn't me either. Then Tommy automatically assumes it's the Italians. So, remember that's the scene where they got ambushed, so they got, So Tommy automatically assumes it's the Italians until he runs up and he sees Cedric the Entertainer lying on the floor. And he was like, you not Italian? And so he ends up rolling out, though. Remember he left Ghost? Remember how he left? Honey, he got up out of there quick because he rolling around New York this whole episode in his mama BMW, honey. So he leaves there. And then he goes to the house to go get the recording. Honey, he gets to the house. He ends up killing the 2 guards on the door. Look, I'm just going to... Tommy being a killing machine, I'm just going to let that whole shit go. I'm just going to pretend like we believe that Tommy just can't be killed. Okay? I'm just let that part go. So he gets inside of the house, and Lisa Marie is upstairs minding her business, and here comes Tommy. He wants the recording. Tommy was like... Lisa Marie was like, it's on my laptop. And he asked her... I want to say he asked her something, and she started playing with the locket, and I thought he was going to figure it out, but he didn't. He was asking her, where's the recording? Are there any more copies? Whatever. So she was like in shock, so she wouldn't answer him, and he was like, fine, you just going to come with me then. And he ended up kidnapping her. See, that's the part we didn't see. That's the part we didn't see coming. We knew something with Lisa Marie. We knew the locket, but honey, who saw that coming, that Tommy was going to kidnap the little girl? Now, what was even more funny, what we didn't see coming, was how smart that little girl is. And she gave Tommy a run for her damn money. And it was really comic relief because this was sort of like a tense episode. But the two of them interacting were hilarious. But she asked Tommy, did you kill my father? And Tommy was like, why would you ask me that? She was like, because, I think you did. And I don't want nobody, I'm tired of people lying to me. Did you kill my father? And he never gave her a straight answer. But in that conversation, she also found out that Tariq ratted her out because, Tommy let it be known that that's how he found her through Tariq. The other thing was that she did that was really smart was she did let Tommy know, I think I just said this wrong, but she did let Tommy know that there was a recording. There was another recording of the tape because that kept her alive. That kept her alive. So he ends up taking her back to his apartment, honey. And who he called to be the babysitter? His crackhead mama. And she was like, oh, I always wanted a girl. Oh, okay, Tommy. All right, I'm here to babysit. She was like, I'm not a baby. I don't need nobody to babysit for me. Honey, it was a mess, okay? Tommy and that little girl and every scene with the two of them was hilarious. And I don't even know if they meant for it to be that funny, but I was over here cracking up because she was giving Tommy a run for her damn money. You hear me? And Tommy was just going off the seat of his pants. Y'all know Tommy don't plan nothing. He doesn't think shit through. He just impulse. So he leaves the little girl with his mama. I'm surprised that the little girl was still there when he got back, but okay. He ends up leaving Lisa Marie there. Whew. And around this time, they realized that Lisa, back at the house, they realized that she was gone. And they get a phone call from Tommy. And Tommy is like, look, fair exchange, ain't no robbery. I'm going to give this little girl back. I need all of the recordings. And she was like, nah, I need proof of life. He was like, look, we're not doing that. Because, of course, the little girl back at the apartment, he's in the car. He can't give her proof of life at that moment. And he was like, look, that's not how we get ready to play this game. At the end of the day, you're going to bring me my product. You're going to bring me the recording. And I'm going to, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh, and I'll bring the little girl. We'll do it in exchange. Now, while he was doing this, he was watching from across the street. So Vincent, not only was Vincent there, but the head honcho, the head of the mafia, was there too. And he basically was letting Vincent know, look, I'm not happy with you. I'm not happy with how this situation fell out, but I'm going to deal with you later. I'm going to get my aunt back, Tommy rolls back to the apartment, and Mama and Lisa Marie is sitting there doing her hair and all this other stuff. Now, Lisa Marie is trying to figure out who Ghost is. She obviously knows that that's Tommy, but she still don't know who Ghost is. And so she even asked Tommy in one of their conversations about Ghost. And Tommy, again, he played it off or whatever. This was when Paz came. And this is why he wouldn't let Paz all the way in the apartment, because he was hiding the little girl and, his mama were in the apartment. So we see that whole scene with Paz, wants him to kill Jamie or whatever. But in that conversation, he lets it be known who Jamie is. He mentions that that's Ghost. So now the little girl has made the connection between who Ghost is, right? And Then Tommy ends up, taking the little girl to go to the meeting spot where they're going to do the exchange or whatever. And that's when the little girl was like, look, I don't know if this gonna turn out. You know who my grandfather is, right? I don't know if this gonna turn out good for either one of us. Like basically letting him know you think I'm a whole lot of collateral and I'm not. Like, um, whoops, sorry y'all. So then, they were in the dialogue. They were having dialogue in the car, and the girl kept messing with Tommy again. Hilarious. So Tommy told her just shut up. So that's when he pulls out the ring. I mean, she pulls out the ring, and of course it's Lakeisha's engagement ring. Tommy gets upset, so she starts telling the story about her mom's engagement ring and how she really wanted the ring, and her mom promised her the ring. And Tommy was like, "Well, what happened to the ring?" She was like, "Well, she was a junkie. She pawned it." And then he went on to let Tommy know that she knew what her dad did to her father, to her mom. That she overheard the conversation with her dad explaining that he let her overdose. She was sick and he let her overdose. So even if Proctor had lived, I mean, Lisa Marie was definitely gonna have some issues because she knew how everything really went down with her mom or whatever. So they have a really good dialogue. She talks about that she knows who her dad really was. She knows that he was, she know what he did for a living. I mean, hell, she know her family's in the mafia. I guess she know her dad wasn't no clean dude. Um, and Tommy was like, you know what? He was like, yeah, my mom's a junkie. She was like, yep, mom was too. He was like, yeah, we kind of do have a few things in common. So he started bonding with her a little bit. And then she said something about feeling like she's all alone in this world. So I was like, yeah, Tommy ain't going to kill this little girl. He may want to, but he ain't going to kill the little girl. So that moment, he gets a phone call from Spanky letting him know that Dre was the one that snitched and that Dre is out of jail. He was like, all right, cool. I need to handle it. So he leaves the meeting spot with Lisa Marie because he like, I got something I got to go handle. So that's when he realizes that Dre is still going to be after Ghost. In that moment, everything switched because everything he thought Ghost had done, Ghost did not do. Ghost didn't kill Keisha. Ghost didn't snitch on him. Ghost didn't try to tear down his business. And now he wants to try to help Ghost and try to find Dre before Dre gets to Ghost first. He tells Lisa Marie, look, your aunt still loves you. She still cares about you. You go in that house and you let them know that I ain't hurt you. Because, I mean, at this point, it don't matter. The Italian's coming to get you one way or the other. Whether you hurt her or not. So who does he meet up with? Tariq. Now, Tariq is dressed for the party. Remember, Tariq went to the party for about 5 good minutes. And Tommy was like, what you all dressed up for? He was like, I got an appointment, whatever. And he's letting him know, look, Tariq, we need to go help your father. We need to go save your father. Tariq was like, what? He was like, I'm not helping Ghost do shit. He was like, look, everything we thought your father did, he didn't do. Like, I need to go help my friend. And, Tariq was like, I'm not about to help you do nothing. He was like, yesterday you was all ready to kill him, and now all of a sudden it's kumbaya. He was like, nah, hell nah. He was like, I don't know what changed with you, but ain't nothing changed with me. I'm still gonna kill that nigga. So, Tommy rolls out. Next thing you know, he getting surrounded by the Italians. A big shootout ensues. Again, I'm not gonna get into Bionic Tommy, but a whole shootout ensues. And come to find out, who told the Italians where Tommy was going to be? That damn Tariq. But Tommy ends up killing Vincent, and that's the end of that. I'm sure we'll deal with that. I'm sure that'll come through another time. So, from there, Tommy ends up going to Truth. I want to make sure I'm right, because here's the moment. Yes. He ends up going to Truth, and that he finds Ghost on the floor already shot. So we have confirmed that Tommy did not shoot Ghost. However, Tommy saw who did. Because the person who shot Ghost was still there. Remember, Ghost was on the catwalk and fell down. So when Tommy got there, Ghost had just hit the ground or whatever. And we see Tommy look up. And when Tommy looked up, he was shocked at who it was. He was like, what? Like, you were the one that did it? And he pulled out his gun and was getting ready to shoot the person. And Ghost was like, don't do it. Don't do it. He was like, it's okay. And I thought Ghost said her. I thought I heard Ghost use a female pronoun, but I might have been reaching. But it don't matter. Tommy saw who it was, and whoever it was, it shocked Tommy. So it's somebody that Tommy would not have expected, which makes me think that maybe it wasn't Tariq, because he knew Tariq wanted to kill his ass. So maybe it was Tasha. So, because it had to be something that would make Tommy hesitate. Because if it had been like Althea, you know what I'm saying? Tommy wouldn't have hesitated to shoot her. If it had been Dre, well, we knew, we've already eliminated Dre as a suspect. But I'm just saying, it had to be somebody that, and we know that Tommy had already let Tasha live once. And the thing is, that's what I wrote down. I said, I wonder if Tommy is thinking, if it was Tasha, thinking if I had killed her, Ghost would still be alive. So I'm wondering if a part of him, if it is Tasha, is thinking, I let it happen. Like, I could have stopped it from happening. But in that moment, Ghost, he takes his final breaths. Him and Tommy make peace. Ghost lets it be known that he still loved Tommy and he still had love for Tommy. And they have their moment, So Tommy and Ghost, they ended things in a good place, right? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Well, it should be no boys and girls looking at this video, but I accept Ghost is dead. That is what I needed. I accept. Now, here's my caveat. This is still Tommy's point of view. And just like dialogue has changed, maybe Ghost really didn't take his last breath. But Ghost dead. So, he goes back to his mother's place, and his mother automatically assumes that he killed Ghost. And he's like, Ma, I didn't do it. She was like, how could you do that? He was your brother. He loved you, and then she goes into this whole thing about wishing he was her son and he was a better son than Tommy was. And Tommy was like, so even in death, I'm not your favorite. Like, even in death, I'm competing with Ghost. Even in his death, I am competing with Ghost. She said, well, you know what? Don't worry about it. Ghost left me some money. I don't really need you anymore. I don't need to kiss your ass anymore. And here, he left you this package too. And of course, she's drunk and high. But drunk man's words are sober man's thoughts. We know that happens all the time. So, of course, Tommy is in his feelings. He leaves his mom, the house keys. He was like, well, I guess I don't need these anymore. I'm not going to be needing a place to stay. And he had already said earlier that he was going to try to get out of town to go to California. His mama told him, so take your ass on over to California and get away from me because I don't need you and I don't want you. Now, we know how Tommy and his mama get down. If he stay around a week from now, they'll be done made up. But Tommy ends up going to getting his little vintage Mustang out. We see him standing in the empty apartment building. Well, his loft. So the loft is packed up. Tommy gets in his Mustang and he about to roll out. He gets a phone call from Spanky. Spanky lets him know that 2-Bit was the one that snitched. 2-Bit was the one that switched up on him. And Tommy is like, are you serious? He was like, yeah, it was 2-Bit. So Tommy is like, well, I got one more thing to do before I roll out. And he rolls up on 2-Bit. And of course, 2-Bit was like, man, Tommy, I would have, I thought you had snitched on us. I'm never going to testify. I mean, I just did what I had to do to get out of there. I wasn't trying to do no jail time. You understand, Tommy. You know what it is. Tommy was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Man, I don't know why 2-Bit trusted Tommy ass. When you saw Tommy roll up, you should have ran. Because I don't know what made you think you was about to live. But we know what he did. He ended up shooting 2-Bit. Spank. Yeah. And because he told 2-Bit he was leaving town. And Tommy was like, well, 2-Bit was like, where you going? Tommy was like, if I tell you, I got to kill you. 2-Bit was like, what? Boom. Shot him right in the eye. I said, well, damn. So there's 2-Bit gone. And after that, we see Tommy go by to see Lisa Marie. And they have their moment. And he tells her, he said, look, I know I killed your father. And if you come looking for me one day, I'm just going to have to pay the piper. But understand that, basically I did what I had to do. Your father wasn't no clean dude. So she ends up giving him the recording. and he destroys it. And then she ends up giving him the recording out the locket. And he destroys that too by eating it. Another conversation. And she says, basically she says, look, that's it. That's all of them. So you don't have to worry. It's over. You do your thing. Let me mind my business. Let me go back to school tomorrow, And he was like, so you had that shit the whole time? I had you kidnapped and everything? She was like, he said, well played, So I feel like next thing we know, we see Tommy riding off into the sunset to Dr. Dre to Nate Dogg, I hear the song, but y'all know what I'm saying. Anyway, so Tommy is, as of right now, Tommy is alive and he got away. And I really feel like that situation with him and Lisa Marie is some foreshadowing. Because he even said, if you come looking for me one day, ain't nothing I can do about that. Now I don't know how far. I know that book 2 picks up right after book 1, but how far in the future is going to go at some point, I'm not sure. But anyway, that was Tommy's episode. I think out of the 3 we've seen so far, to me, this was the best one. It answered the most questions. It was still some stuff in there that I was like, but it made more sense. Even answering some questions going back to Keisha's death. As far as, why did that happen? Why did that do that? Does the earring mean anything? All of that came back. So I can't wait to do the podcast this week with my bros and my girl Paris. Once again, if you guys are not checking out the podcast, you need to do that. I'm going to make sure I put all that information in the description box so you can join us later on this week. And I will talk to y'all later. Peace.